Hello, so for today I have planned a very first subscriber video, and this is a in detail how to hem pants. Specifically, this is men's dress pants, but it does have a sewn in seam, sewn in hem. It's not, most men's dress pants have an invisible hem. This pair actually has the sewn in hem. I've already taken the hem out. The original hem was like this and then had the stitching along here an inch. So this is a 2-inch hem, so you want to have enough to turn it twice. So you turn it under once an inch and then under again an inch, and then you sew it at an inch right along the edge. So I already took the stitches out from both of those, and this particular pair of pants, we actually did a try-on with the customer and we had pinned, and so I have just made marks with my chalk where the pins were. So then I know that that's where the hem needs to end, right there. That needs to be the bottom of the hem. So what's the other thing? But so if you're only going off of a length, like say 28, then you're going to want to have either a yardstick or a measuring tape. And the measuring tapes you can find even in some grocery stores, definitely at Walmart or any sewing store. So you start right at the crotch and you go along the seam. So you're having the pants folded so that you can see that seam. And then you're going to start right at the crotch and go all the way down. You're going to mark your 28 with some chalk. If it's 28 that you're going after, of course, then what you do is you take your, like, a ruler of some kind or a straight edge, and you can actually mark it all the way across with chalk. So like this one, we put it here. So my customer tried it on. This is where he wants his hem to end. So because we have a 2-inch hem, I'm going to pull out the hem here, all of the hem, flatten it out, and I'm going to measure from that fold to the bottom is 2 inches. So then I take my measuring, what is this called, a ruler, and I start at the where he wants his hem to end, and then I'm going to measure 2 inches down from that, which then I just mark with some chalk. So this is actually where we're going to cut. So then I'm going to take my straight edge or my ruler again and just make little dash marks along there so that I know that's where I cut. Okay, got it? So at this point, we're going to flatten everything out. You can iron it if you want to at this point, because we don't need those lines anymore to make sure we've got the right hem length, all that stuff. So you can take a pair of scissors, make sure they're sharp scissors. I personally don't use my sewing scissors for anything except fabric, which most seamstresses don't or sewists don't. So then you just cut through both layers, and that's if you're, you gotta make sure everything's lined up and smooth. We're gonna get rid of that. Did I talk about this? So this is a seam ripper. So most seam rippers are going to be the little tiny ones that you would get with a sewing machine. but these ergonomic seam rippers you can find on Amazon or probably any number of places. I'm gonna just make sure that my iron is hot, and then I'm gonna start by pressing in that hem. So we're gonna go the first inch up, and basically you can just grab the fabric, turn it under, and then you can measure from the top 1 inch, and we've got 1 inch, just to make sure that we have an inch turned under. Okay, and so then we're going to very carefully just press. Now you're going to want to have, if you really are serious about this, some steam, which my iron, let's see, does it have water? No, it actually needs water, but that looks pretty good anyway. It's got a little bit of water. I know earlier I was doing some hemming and it was blowing steam all over the place. So I'm just going in between the layers just to make sure we've got a nice pressed line for that. And then you're gonna go and turn it under again. And that basically, that ensures that there are not going to be any loose threads hanging out anywhere, and it gives you the ability to lengthen the pants if you need to at any point. You can lengthen them somewhat, a little bit, you know, it's not going to be the exact same seam. So then we're pressing again. Once we turn that again, and then we're just going to press that in there so that it stays. The other thing that you can do is you can use pins, and you can actually pin it to make sure that that stays in there good. So you can put a couple of pins if you wanted to. You could put another pin on the other side. See, there's my steam went off over there. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing to the other leg. Putting that leg out of the way. So same thing here. Yeah, I got all the steam coming out now. So we've got our chalk line there. So we're going to measure down 2 inches. 2 inches. And then we're going to make some marks all along that 2-inch line to know, so that we know where to cut. So we'll take our scissors. We're going to make sure everything's flat and even. That steam, it's just using up all the rest of the water in there. And then I just want to cut along that edge, get rid of that. A lot of times I don't actually throw them away unless it's only a tiny bit, but this is enough fabric that I can use this for a patch if I need to, or if I need to lengthen a pair of pants, which is a whole other topic. Okay, so now I do need that steam. I'm going to turn the edges under. I really wish I had the steam, and it sounds like it's going out. It's going to run out. There's some. And if I can get this quick enough, maybe there'll be enough steam left for all these, for this whole pair of pants. And so then you just want to make sure that your line is right at the bottom of the pants, of the hem. So we got a little steam there. And then now I'll move over to the sewing machine and we can get these sewn up. Okay, so now I'm at my sewing machine. I'll flip it on. I brought over with me this little ruler and I have some little scissors. The other thing that I like to use at the sewing machine is nippers because they're just easy to grab and snip. I've got a light gray thread, and then I didn't have a bobbin with the light gray, so I'm just using white, and you can't see the white, so it'll be fine. I want to take this front part off, which then allows me to get the pant leg around this to sew. I'll show you. So here's the pant leg that I just ironed. I'm going to start at this seam. So I'm putting it under there just like that, lowering the pressure foot. And I do have the machine on a straight stitch. It's at a 3, which is about, it's an average length stitch. Alright, so I've got my foot pedal is all set up, everything's ready. So we're just going to start, and we're going to make this basically right on the edge of that turned fabric, which you can usually feel it unless you got really bulky fabric. And we're just going to sew all the way around until we come back to where we started. And I'm just letting the feed dogs pull the fabric through, and you want to sit straight in front of your needle so that you're looking at it straight ahead, and then you'll get the straightest seam possible. You might want to do a little bit of practice before if this is your first time sewing. And then when you come to these seams, you want to just slow down a little bit so that the machine can get over this hump. Okay. And you're just constantly trying to make sure you're feeling that fabric and making sure that you're going straight and even. You might want to go a little slower than what I'm going. So I'm back to the beginning, so I'm going to just back stitch a couple times over that. And then I just pull my needle so that it's, with my hand, I do the hand, whatever that's called. And that way my thread is all tensioned up for the next hem that I'm going to sew. And then, so I'll grab my little scissors and snip off all the threads. And for this part, you just need scissors that are going to cut through thread. So whatever scissors you have that will cut thread, that are small enough so that you can get close to the fabric. Or like I said, a little cheap pair of nippers like what I have. And then, so that's your hem. So you may want to, after you're done, press it one more time just to make sure that everything is lying flat. Then we're going to do the next one. This one we had a pin in. So I just stretch everything, make sure everything's lined up properly, put it on the little arm there, and line it up. Your machine will likely have marks for the different hem lengths and what you want. So, but I don't go actually all the way to the inch because my hem is exactly an inch, and I want to make sure that I'm catching all that fabric underneath. You do want to check that you're catching all of the fabric, otherwise you're going to have to go back over it and re-sew those areas that you missed. So I always like to make sure I'm basically lining up the top of that folded fabric with the edge of my foot here. And so, and what this is, this type of foot, it allows you to do zigzag stitches or straight stitches. So I keep this foot in my machine most of the time because I switch between zigzag and straight. And so then I'm also keeping my hand kind of tensioning that fabric a little bit at the bottom here so that I can make sure everything's smooth, and also so that I can feel that fold in the fabric. But you don't want to pull too much unless you're actually trying to make it gather up, and like say when I'm doing elastic, or when, you know, I'm trying to like stretch the fabric so that it meets the other layer of fabric or something like that. And then also the other thing is that you're going to have a seam in here that's either opened all the way or kept together and then folded to one side. In this case, it's folded to one side. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that fold in there so that everything lies properly. That way it'll stay more smooth and less bulky. Sometimes over those stitches or those seams where you have like a double seam that you're going over, you need to go ahead and pull it with your hand. Sometimes you have to lift the presser foot a little bit, slide it forward, and this is just basically allowing you to get over that thicker area of fabric. So I do that regularly, using my hand, bringing it forward and then lowering the needle a little bit at a time, and slowly feeding that fabric through, because there is that bulk, extra bulk in there that is sometimes harder for your feed dogs to push through. And then we come back around and meet up with the part where we started and backstitch a couple times. So then we have the second pant leg done, and we just snip off these little threads, and your seam or your hem is technically finished at this point. So like I said, if you want to go back to the iron and iron it flat, which I'm going to do, back at the iron, and I'm hoping that there's enough steam in there for this part. I just want to steam this a little bit, because we already did the pressing to get a nice crisp bottom of the hem. Just press. And this one, because this fabric is a little bit stretchy, it did have a little bit of that gathering in this one. So we'll just press it. There we go. Got some steam. And that helps a lot. That helps that to lay a lot flatter. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just make sure everything is lying flat. Lying, that's one of those things that I screw up all the time. I don't know. I actually don't know. It was I was very good in English class, grammar, all that, but that was one thing I missed completely. All right, so that's that. That's our pants all hemmed. and we're ready to go. Thanks for joining me.